The Roadrunner is also understandable. He doesn't want to get eaten by a coyote. It's fun to watch those two characters that I like chase each other around. I fucking hate Andrea, and I think the Governor is one of the most bipolar back-asswards characters, back-asswards written characters I've seen in a show in a long time. Oh boy, when Andrea told Poindexter, you can't stay here and be neutral, I nearly fucking choked. Yeah, good point. Look who's talking, you fucking clown. If the writers have any mercy at all, the Governor will drag Andrea's dumbass out to the prison and use her to try to get Rick to surrender. When Rick refuses, the Governor's going to cut her silly fucking head off. That would call for a fiesta. Yeah, for some reason, I don't hate Andrea as much as I hated Lori. I'm not sure why.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're being funny, but surely Andrea's not as fiesta-worthy as Lori. Although, to be fair, Andrea did almost kill our favorite character.
Yeah, true.
So she's got an impressive body of work herself.
Ruben from Boston says, I thought this was a great hour of television, even with all of the plot contrivances. I won't bother to mention them all because you guys are masters of tearing them apart anyway. I just wanted to say that Philip must have gone to the Andrew Lincoln School of Zombie Survival to have escaped that horde of walkers. That's pretty funny. I'm surprised they didn't show him lure them away with an axe and chopped up deer parts. Do you think the show writers really this dumb, or do they do all this shit just to fuck with intelligent viewers? It's so, there's like an element of, yeah, maybe they don't think that the audience is super smart, because when you play a scene like that and you know, if you follow the show at all, you know that the Governor is a major character, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be taken out by Andrea in some warehouse 2 episodes before the season finale when there's a war coming.
Right.
We fucking know that. He's not going to die there.
Well, but we know that about Rick. Rick and Carl Jr. are never going to die, but they can still put them in suspenseful situations that we kind of get caught up in because we care about them. I think the problem is the audience really doesn't care about Lori and her flight to get back to her home.
Yeah. That's really confusing because the actress is named Lori and the character is Andrea.
Oh, did I call her Lori?
You did.
I did that deliberately.
Lori.
I did that deliberately early on in this. To say director is talking her as her person, not a character. But I just fucked that up.
Oh, okay. Jen writes in, I know that you were led to believe that Milton burned the walkers, but I have a really hard time believing that he was able to steal the truck and gasoline without Martinez knowing. I'm hoping that it was Martinez that burned the walker pits, either because he realized how morally wrong it was to use the walkers after Tyrese's reaction, or because he's trying to set Tyrese up, or some other reason. But that Milton figured it out. That Milton is a clever one, and I can't figure out if he's an evil genius or just a genius. Either way, his character's getting interesting.
I don't think he's evil or a genius. I don't think that that's actually true, but I really like the theory. I really like the fact that maybe Martinez is a really good guy. And that what Tyrese said did affect him, and seeing that Daryl and the other crew, like Rick's heavy badasses, are way nicer people than the Governor's heavy badasses, but they're still badasses, and maybe he's thinking that there is a different way. That's a really interesting point. I don't know about his setting up Tyrese, but I really like the idea that this is somebody that we are not seeing, expecting, but in retrospect would make obvious sense. Or some sense.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you can play with our biases there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we see that he's following the Governor, but we don't really know much about him, and we're assuming he's a bad guy. I'm going to try to pronounce this name correctly. I doubt I'm going to get it. I'm going to call him Eugene. It's the guy I've been calling Oyston for the last 4 weeks or so. Apparently he's Irish, and his name is Eugene.
Is it supposed to be like Eugene? Is that the Irish version of Eugene?
I don't think so. I think it's just a name that we don't have over here.
Okay. Like Shillelagh?
Sure.
Or Aaron?
Yes. So he says they are really showing how sick and crazy the Governor really is by showing all the torture and weird things that he was setting up on the table, and by showing him holding onto the chains that he set out from Michonne. Yeah, that chain scene. Ooh,
he swung for David Morris. He swung for the fences on that one.
Yeah, he did. This is either going to work or it's not.
It's like
He says, "I'm so glad the point." Huh?
oh, go ahead. I was going to make a Mazera joke, but then I got sad because he's fired. Also, a follow up on that other guy's email about like insulting the audience intelligence and all that. It's like I also wonder. One of the theories about Mazera getting cut was how displeased the executives were at the second half of the season. It could be that these were just awful sources that, because sometimes you film stuff and it just doesn't work the way you think it was going to, and you don't have all the scenes you need, and they're trying to desperately fix this through editing, but, I don't know. If that theory is true and Mazera got axed because of the poor quality of the second season, then I don't think it's the showrunners being insulting. I just think they just kind of maybe lost control of what the thread of what they're trying to do in the show across all the different episodes, and it didn't come together in editing. I don't know.
And I'm not going to claim that running a show is easy, because A, I've never done it, and B, I don't think I could do it.
Hell no. I mean, especially the way they do that concurrently, where they shoot like several scenes together. They're going to be cut in the individual. I mean, it'd be real easy to miss some crucial things or not get a correct performance, or I mean, I'm not making excuses for them. They're getting paid millions of dollars to do this shit right. So, but I can understand how it would happen. And Mazera was never like this ace showrunner. He was just a guy, like you'd say in the football world.
I mean, he did some stuff with The Shield, which actually turned out to be a really great series.
But he was not the guy on The Shield.
No. He did a lot of writing and stuff, and I think he might have been a producer as well.
Right.
But yeah, running a show's hard.
I mean, like Sepinwall basically said his reputation is just he's a competent showrunner. He's not a Villigan. He's not a Yost. Anybody. He's not a Terrence Winters or anybody on that caliber.
Yeah. Jackie says, this episode was kind of fun. I like the extended chase scene a lot, but one question, what's with the governor's sudden penchant for creepy whistling? Had he ever done it before this episode? I think we talked about that during the recap.
Yep.
Farzan, I don't know, man. You might want to write me a pronunciation guide for your name, too. It says, I thought it was really good. The governor stalking Andrea actually gave me a scare. Tyrese time is always welcomed. And oh my god, was it just me, or were the burn zombie effects just terrifyingly good? Yes,
it was not just you.
Farzan writes in, I thought it was really good. The governor stalking Andrea actually gave me a scare. Tyrese time is always welcomed. And oh my god, was it just me, or were the burnt zombie effects just terrifyingly good? Yes, they were. Now, a couple problems. He says, a couple 180-degree turns in Tyrese's personality all throughout this episode. What if Tyrese's character implies he would even think about throwing his friend into a pit of walkers? He's level-headed all the time. Even if he did snap, to go so far as to do that? What? He says, also, I'm interested in the Milton/old governor relationship. Some of my friends have read homosexual undertones, but I just think they're reaching. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think they're reaching on that.
Yeah.
I don't get any of it.
Enthusiastic cosign of the overreach theory. I don't get that at all.
Okay. Why would someone run into the forest and close their eyes to catch their breath, like Andrea did? And how does the governor keep finding Andrea? And what's with the Neo getup?
Good
all
question.
in black. I actually read that more as a Western thing,
Oh, yeah.
Man in Black.
Yeah.
Nick M. from Illinois says, hey guys, I thought last episode was great. Felt very tense and nice to see Tyrese and those survivors get some TV time. I'm interested to know what you guys think is going to happen to Tyrese, since they look like they're staying for now. By the way, I think Aaron won't have to drink that alcohol because I think Milton is gone.
Agreed. My liver is very happy about the way he's turning out.
Yep. Staffa writes in, has a problem with the choreography in the fight scene. He says, worst choreographed fight scene award goes to Tyrese and Ben's dad, whatever his name is. I think it's Alan. Seriously, it's like they hugged and jumped around. Yeah, I didn't have a real problem with it, but I didn't watch it that closely.
Weird angle on when he's holding him over to Screamer Pit too, I thought.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I thought so.
Michelle writes in, maybe it's because I'm a woman that I had such a visceral reaction to the end of tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. And perhaps writers/producers wanted to elicit that anger from me as a viewer to demonstrate just how evil and callous a bastard the governor's character is. However, I can't help but shake the feelings of disgust over the fact that this episode smacked of some pervo man writing it, looking at you, Glenn Mazzara, on the writing credits, and fantasizing that he's going to get the dude Andrea had sex with to give her the speculum and lots of sexual pain in the old school dental chair. Grossness. Yeah, Michelle, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. They want you to really hate this guy now, and realize that he's just a fucking evil bastard. And apparently it's effective because you do hate him.
It is working.
Graham says, not sure if you noticed, but during the warehouse scene when Andrea enters one of the rooms, the graffiti on the wall right next to her reads, "Wake up." Interesting. I did not notice that. Corey from Alabama. Jim said on Twitter that this episode was phenomenal, but I have to disagree. The entire chase sequence with Andrea felt pointless and was proven pointless at the end of the episode. We all knew the governor wasn't going down that way. The only redevelopment I felt was between Tyrese and his group. It was interesting that Alan felt his wife had feelings for Tyrese because we knew absolutely nothing about his wife Donna beforehand. I also like the nod to the comics where spoiler section. Actually, not spoiler section, because you talked about it earlier, where Tyrese is a crappy shot. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff was, I think, supposed to be inferred. Like, we're supposed to see the conflict between Tyrese and between Alan and take the little information that they give us and kind of construct a story. And I did, but I'm saving it for the spoiler section, so everyone can tell me I'm totally wrong.
All right.
And like I said, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I don't think the entire episode was pointless. I think you could certainly cut it out, and we wouldn't miss anything plot-wise, but I think motivation-wise, we would miss quite a bit of it.
Well, and sometimes you can do things just because it's cool, or you can do things just because so I didn't have a problem per se with the governor stalking down Andrea. And I thought it was definitely cool. I had some problem with some of the staging, and again, I'm not a big fan of that horror trope, but yeah, I don't know if it's pointless. It's like, was the episode of Breaking Bad The Fly pointless? Because it didn't advance the plot. It's like, no, I mean, it obviously had a point.
Yeah, plot is not the only thing that needs to be considered.
Yeah.
And a lot of my personal television watching is based more on like watchability, not necessarily like thematics and all that stuff. I enjoy something that makes me get involved in the story. And for me, being a big horror fan, these horror tropes totally did that.
Okay.
So I can see why Corey doesn't like it, but at the same time, I loved it. Jake from Tallahassee, last email, says, do you remember early speculation about how the new opening credits were giving us hints for the plot? Like how Sarah Wayne Callie's name appears over a single bullet shell and a centipede crawling over it? That matches her fate in the show. Looking at it now, Michael Rooker's name flashes over a pair of Walker eyes. Laurie Holden and Laurie Cohan's name flashes over pictures of gravestones and used bullet shells. We can only assume they'll die in the war. Hope I'm wrong, but the credits have been consistent so far.
That's true. We talked about that a lot last half of the season, and there was a little bit to that. So,
yeah. All right, that's it for non-spoiler feedback.
Well, if you'd like to give us more feedback, you can do so at watchingdead@baldmove.com. You can also follow us along on our live Facebook threads for the show at facebook.com/baldmove, and follow Jim on twitter.com @baldmove. And that's it. Ready to go to the spoiler section.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 15. And until then, I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron. See you then.
And we're back with the spoiler section. We don't have the review or the preview. We decided not to do that.
Deleting it. No more.
Yeah,
It's gone.
It's gone. Not a feature. So why don't you get us straight back into the spoiler feedback?
Actually, I got a couple takes I want to talk about.
Oh,
So in the comic book, Tyrese is kind of a little bit of a homewrecker. He
okay.
kind of fucks around with Carol and ends up breaking her heart, and he fucks around with Michonne. I thought they tried to get a little bit of that flavor with him, with Donna kind of throwing herself at him, but they also tried to make Tyrese out to like he was that he was a good guy and he didn't court any of this attention. Do you think that might be something that they explore? That because then when Tyrese told what was his name?
I think it's Alan. Can I like construct what I think happened?
Yes, go for it.
Before you like drop it on me.
Yep.
So like, from the stuff they said in this episode, because I don't remember anything about Tyrese's character, honestly. It seemed like Tyrese holds Alan responsible for Donna's death. Like it seems to me like there was at some point. Okay, so Tyrese saved Donna's life, and then she was all clinging to him and whatnot, as they specifically said in this episode. And I think at some point probably Tyrese and Alan had kind of a confrontation about that, and Tyrese probably backed off and said, "Okay, we'll let you do what you got to do to protect her then." And I'm going to leave that to you. And then she got bit and killed. Mm-hmm. And now that's why Tyrese blew up on Alan today in this episode.
I'm wondering if Tyrese didn't maybe encourage that attention a little bit more than he's letting on.
Oh, you think so?
And that's why at the end he's like, he tweaked, shit, you just said the guy's name, Alan. He tweaked Alan about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, and maybe if Alan survives this, if that's something they'll explore in later seasons. But anyway, an interesting kind of semi-deviation from the comics. The other thing I want to talk about is the exceptional idea that he had of one of our listeners had of Martinez becoming a good guy and turning on the governor. In the comics, we do know that the governor is eventually brought down by a Woodbury native, one of his, not necessarily lieutenants, but one of his people who's disgusted with his assault and clearly aggressive assault on the prisoner, and ends up shooting him and throwing him to the zombies. It would be interesting if Martinez turns out to be that guy.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
I'm wondering what could be the impetus that would move Martinez doing that, because it seems like he's got a soft spot towards family. And without further ado, I'm going to move on to the listeners' spoilers, because they kind of talk about some of the other things I wanted to. Mike from Northern Carolina said, my prediction for the next 2 episodes for The Walking Dead are that Andrea will be tortured and Milton will eventually free her. The governor kills Milton. I'm pissed that everyone stopped calling him Poindexter. Come on, people, get it together. That Andrea tortures the governor back. She runs to the prison and warns them of the governor's plot, but is interrupted by the governor. A huge brawl breaks out in the middle. Governor shoots Beth and Judith. Tyrese ends up killing the governor after this. Then the season ends with Michonne giving Tyrese a blowjob in the basketball court with Carol looking on. Okay, it went a little off the rails there at the end.
Yeah.
So this brings up, in the comic, Lori and Judith get cut down by a shotgun blast by the governor. What if Beth is the one that stands in for Lori? She's running with Judith, clearly jostling the baby, breaking its neck. It's a mercy killing at this point.
It's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The governor kills her, and then Martinez sees that and is like, what the fuck? You killed a teenage girl and a baby, and kills him in a fit of rage.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
So now I'm starting to think and if he's the one that set the zombies on fire, all even better.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm with you.
Jason says, and I'm going to actually move this to the bottom, because we try to keep the severe spoilers later on, the non-comic severe spoilers. So I'm going to put this one dead to last. And then I want to scroll back up and continue doing what I'm doing. Lenny C says, I would love to see Daryl get killed. because it would be so friggin' badass and show that the show has balls approaching those of Kirkman when he kills off fan favorites. Do you think that they'll kill Daryl?
That did not seem like the direction they were going in the interview with Glenn Mazzara that I watched. No.
Yeah, but Mazaris does all kinds of shit that doesn't mean.
Yeah, and he's not on the show in season 4. I'll say it's not going to happen yet. Certainly not in this season.
Okay. I would say agree. I think Daryl's got probably another season of Shields, but I would not be surprised if they don't eventually kill him off just for that purpose.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note that he probably signed a 5-season deal because I guess that's standard. So I would start, if he's alive at the end of season 5, or towards the end of season 5, I would get very scared of him dying in the finale or by the end of season 5 for sure. In fact, I would be shocked kind of after I've said it like that if he survives past season 5.
Yeah, that's another 2 seasons. I mean, especially if some of the bigger spoilers are true, it's going to be hard to keep his character going for another 2 seasons without some more, without some story injection.
He goes on to say, if they do kill Daryl, then Andrea will have to kill the governor. But the more I think about it, the more I think that they will kill Andrea. First, because of the entire internet hating her. Second, because the way they would do it is to have Andrea finally get up her nerve to kill the governor. But this time when she tries, he's onto her. So she will fail. The governor will behead her at the prison gates, which is something we speculated about before. I don't think there will be 2 more attacks like in the comics. Because we've already featured the first attack earlier in the season. So I think the next attack will be the final one. He says, I bet there better be some beheading or this show is a douche. I agree. Someone's going to get beheaded outside the gates of the prison. I don't think it would be Milton. I won't be outraged if it's Tyrese. The only logical person at this point is Andrea.
God, if they make it Tyrese.
Oh, God.
This show is done, man.
God. Herschel will not die. I'm sorry. Do you have a point?
No, did you say you think it's Andrea? Because I think it's Andrea.
Yeah, I really do, for all the reasons we've already talked about. Herschel will not die because he's the new Dale, so he has to survive in order to be eaten by the hunters, which is another classic storyline that I'm really looking forward to. Milton will kill Beth, playing Laurie's role, and Judith on the governor's orders. When he realizes what he's done, he'll be totally disgusted, just like the woman in the comic was, and Milton will kill the governor. And then he'll join Rick's group, assuming the role of Eugene, which we talked about was in previous episodes, was from the high school chemistry teacher, I believe, who lies to everybody and says that he's actually a member of the government who's been working on a zombie cure. I think that idea has legs. Obviously, my liver kind of quivered at that mention of that idea. Tyrese will end up joining Rick's group and play the role of Abe. Tyrese will defect to Rick's group. Abe is the new badass, the post-Tyrese badass of the group that you are not familiar with at all, Jim, because you haven't read past the prison. Skipping ahead a little bit, he says he thinks Carol will die. But if she doesn't, she will eventually take over Andrea's role in the comic as a sharpshooter. What do you think about that, Jim?
Could be. She's not a bad shot.
The more I think about it, the more they've kind of laid down, she's offered to help Axel to learn how to shoot, and she's talking about she's a fair shot herself. Andrea seems like she's a goner, and Carol's going to take over that part. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's got a question about Morgan that I don't really want to get into because I don't think we're going to see Morgan again. He thinks Glenn and Maggie...
Well, for a fact we will, right? I mean, he's credited in episode 16.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that. That's got to be a flashback, right?
I couldn't guarantee that.
He says Glenn and Maggie live. If Carol dies, then Maggie will take over Andrew's role of sharpshooter. That'd be interesting. Michonne definitely lives. She's too badass to kill. If Andrew's killed, however, it's unclear how it will be with Michonne's katana. Ooh, interesting. That's right, because in the comic, he beheads these people with Michonne's katana because he captured it as like a war trophy. Now that I think of it, I think Michonne will also try a solo attack on the governor and lose her katana so the governor can then use it. Then the governor will use it to behead Andrea, first in front of Michonne to torture Michonne. Definitely. Then Michonne will get free. I don't know. There's not enough. I think your problem here, Lenny, is you're not factoring the fact we only have 2 episodes left to go. These are all really good ideas, but I don't think there's enough time to make all this stuff happen.
Yeah, that could be true. And also, they're not sticking extraordinarily close to the comics, right?
No, but it does seem at the end of each season they kind of reset the chessboard so that they could if they wanted to. So, and what they all like also doing is putting characters in roles that they didn't have in the comic, but they're essentially the same role, because Herschel is now more of a Dale character from the comics. Right down to the missing leg. JR from Pennsylvania says, have you checked out the Inside the Episode videos on AMC website? They feature Kirkman, Mazzara, etc., explaining many of the actions and motivations behind the events of each episodes. Yes, the very same motivations and actions that receive little to no explanation during the actual episodes and lead us to pull our hair out or scream what the fuck at the TV. No, I'm not watching that. It's curious because I do watch all the Mad Men ones and Breaking Bad ones. I just don't watch the Walking Dead ones. Because I'm usually not, I'm not a big fan of this. Well, we did a shitty job of explaining this in the show, so we'll tell you what you were supposed to get from this scene.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to watch the DVD commentary track to understand the show.
Yeah, I should get like things that are kind of hidden and unobvious, or something that I wouldn't catch on an initial first blush performance. So I don't know. But again, AMC does have a lot of fantastic content throughout the week if you want to check that out at amctv.com. Kyle Sweet from Australia says, I really enjoyed the show. I have a question for you. Out of the main group, who do you think will die by the end of the season? Kyle, you're going to have to wait for our post. Oh, wait, by the end of the season? Shit. I was going to say that would be something for a post-cast review. But I think we've talked about that enough, don't you?
Yeah.
Pretty sure Andrew's going to die. I'm hoping Milton will die. And probably Beth and Judith, too.
The governor, for sure.
And the governor, for sure. Emma says, we kind of well covered this. She was really squicked out about the speculum, especially the governor kind of setting it out and tapping it and giving it a special place of preeminence among his torture tools. She says, I'm concerned where this show is going because I've read the comics a little past this point. I think Andrew's going to get tortured instead of Michonne, and I'm not super opposed to it, because I like for the show to explore dark places. However, I can't deal with the heavily implied gyno torture because I know the revenge aspect of it will probably suck. And she explains this by saying in the comics, Michonne's rape was heavily implied, but the revenge was explicit and made the reader cheer Michonne on. To be honest, I can't sit through a terrifying rape without the rapist getting his comeuppance, especially having read the comics. So she's concerned that they're going to go full bore on Andrea, but because the TV show is the TV show, they're not going to be able to equally go full bore against the governor. I don't think they're going to go into gyno torture on this show. They can't do that on basic cable.
Yeah, I'm with you. They didn't do it. They didn't do the rape scene with Maggie, so I really don't think they'll go to the gyno torture stuff in this.
Yeah, the reason that I think that they did especially go over those tools is because that's all. You're going to have to use your imagination on what happens to Andrea if she ends up being tortured.
Yeah.
Craig Perry says, anyway, 2 quick things. Do you guys think Andrea is going to flip-flop from Michonne to the comics? Rape, torture, and then gives the governor the old shitty spoon in the eye? I think we talked about that. They can't do this on basic cable, people. No way.
Yeah.
Jason says, okay, this is the big spoiler. So if you don't want to know heavy-duty spoilers for next week's show, please turn off the episode now. There's only about a minute or 2 left of this wretched episode of The Watching Dead. So you're not going to be missing anything but a very graphic spoiler from Jason that I'm about to drop right now. He says, I've stumbled across some pictures from episode 14 and 15 before last night aired. The 14 screenshots, which was the one we just saw, were real, so these may be too. Hold on your butt cheeks, and he gives us a picture of Merle as a zombie. I too have seen these spoilers circulating around the internet. There was some asshole on Reddit that was PMing this to people and like rickrolling this with people, and it's pretty stupid. But it looks extremely credible, and it looks like a freshly killed zombie Merle.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was talking about with the major spoiler and Daryl's character needing more story next season. Uh, what do you think about it? I think it's he's kind of a horrible person in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't know how they could. I honestly don't know how they could have pulled integrating Merle to the group. I think that they're going to give us just enough sympathy, and we saw from the previews of next week that it's going to be a Merle heavy episode, and I don't know. I kind of want to say that he's going to go out in some kind of redemptive blaze of glory. But I also think it'd be cool if he was just a selfish asshole and he tried to abandon the group and he ended up getting killed by that. Because ultimately, I don't think that Merle needs redemption. He is a pretty vile, despicable character. Daryl needs, for his personal growth, to completely reject that part of him. But I don't think we need to have a rah-rah, oh, the racist has a heart of gold episode. So
yeah, I like your potential ending better for him.
Okay. That's about it. I'm about tired of wrestling with Skype tonight, Jim. I don't know about you.
Okay. Yeah,
so
me too.
That was the last spoiler email. I know you're feeling puny. So hope you feel better for next week, or actually for the next podcast we record, the TV cast. And until then, I'm going to steal your thunder and say, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
See you next week.